I started working first with patients with COPD through my relationship with Dr. Cooper and Dr. Storer at UCLA. Prior to us working together, I really had minimal interaction with anybody with COPD or knowingly so. But once we kind of partnered for that research, it became very clear how important exercise was for somebody with COPD. Essentially what we would do is we'd get the patients, they go through the testing with doctors at UCLA, and then when they come to our facilities, we provide the exercise intervention. And it was nothing wild or complex. It was basically work them, they're walking on a treadmill at various intensities, and then we did 2 different movement patterns for strength training, and that was it. And it took some total of 30 45 minutes a day, met with them 3 days a week, and it was a very simple process. But the amount of change that we saw with from start to finish each of these patients was tremendous. There were patients that would start off coming in not being able to do much, and their quality of life was fairly low. One particular person, when she started, as a trainer, you get to know your clients, or in this case patients, and you find out about their background and history. She would speak about how she was a dancer in a previous life, and would always be extremely active, but as time progressed and her condition would worsen, there was no chance of continuing that activity, something which she really and truly enjoyed. By the end of our work together, by the end of her being in that project, she was back to dancing. She was back to engaging in those activities that she truly loved and kind of missed out on for quite a number of years. And going off that and going off my experience working with those patients, the big element for exercise relative to COPD is essentially that quality of life, that ability to do what you want to do and have that ease with which to do it. And it's something I think a lot of us had taken for granted, but as you see somebody progress and develop in their ability to handle different intensities, and it doesn't have to be anything hugely complex to do. As we stated in one of the previous presentations, walking is one of the best interventions you can have. Just getting up and doing something, and you can take it at your own abilities. One day you may be able to do 20 minutes, another day 10 minutes, but at least every day you're doing something. You're able to constantly progress and constantly do a little more each day and continually get yourself up and moving. And that's one of the most important elements that we saw with those people that were coming in to work with us. Another aspect of it was essentially that community-based approach, that ability to have people come in and really interact with other people that either had their same issues or were struggling with the same problems, and to really have that kind of community support system, knowing that you're not alone in the process, and that somebody's there willing and able to help you out or to know what you're going through, goes a long way in maintaining that consistency and maintaining that level of interaction. And so that's something that, through my experience, and this has been now 4 years since I've started working with the doctor, that you can make a dramatic improvement in somebody's quality of life. And to be able to do that, to be able to promote that increased, just ability to do basic human functions is something that can be quite life-changing. So yeah, and that's, there's a lot of different elements I can get into in terms of, the biological elements that can happen to the body and how everything can change. And really, it's unnecessary to get that complex. If you have somebody that that has COPD or that you interact with on a daily basis, being that support system for them and being able to get them up and walking and teaching them how to listen to their own body and listen to themselves and really know what they can do will be one of the biggest changes. You don't need to go to any big program or any research. It's just really getting up and starting to move and starting to actually push what your body can do, because your body will start to adapt and will start to change, and we'll be able to actually improve and get better. And just the more you do, the better you're going to do. So thank you for having me here.
So I've been doing actually research at Harbor-UCLA for the last 10 years. So I've been doing yoga for the past 8 years. So when I started seeing patients come in and not really know anything about how to breathe, or feeling very limited and hesitant, and just not feeling like they're ready to get some exercise going in their life, I decided to talk about yoga. And that's when I realized that, these people aren't moving, they aren't, they don't feel like getting up, they, feel very limited. So it's my experience with the two of them and connecting them is why I'm here today, is to talk about that. There's 5 primary reasons why yoga can really benefit COPD. It can strengthen your muscles and your bones, which is, basically what Matthew's doing as well. And in doing that, it really makes a difference in how you're feeling, your breathing and such. So the progression of this disease does cause this impairment and inactivity and muscle wasting. So to do any amount of exercise, whether it be yoga or strength training, or just getting together and talking about the disease, is going to make a big difference in your life. The way it increases bone density, it actually protects the bones from being fractured even more so. It's a weight-bearing exercise, so any kind of weight-bearing exercise is going to make the bones stronger, stay strong, and build more muscle. I had a PowerPoint of a couple of exercises to show you, so you have an example of what to do and even how to modify it. There's a lot of teachers out there that can help you to modify it based off of your condition. It also helps to increase balance and flexibility, which is really important, especially if you're dragging around oxygen, you can trip and things like that happen. So really, practicing just balancing on one leg can make a real difference in protecting yourself from injury. Another primary reason that you want to incorporate some type of exercise is it reduces stress and anxiety. So the stress, feeling like you can't breathe causes stress. Irritants that surround you make you feel stressed or anxious. And then because you feel that stress, it causes you to have shortness of breath, and it's just a really vicious cycle. So by just focusing on your breath can make a huge difference in your ability to have a good quality of life. So the fourth main reason why you want to do it is you want to be able to, which is also part of the stress and anxiety, is you want to practice your first lip breathing so that you can breathe more efficiently. And that also causes you to decrease your stress and anxiety by really taking your focus to your breath. And the more you practice it, the easier that it becomes. And it becomes natural for you to purse lip breathe if you practice it often. And even if you didn't even want to do a physical practice, just meditating, maybe finding a studio that does meditation classes can, really make a difference in your breath. And then the last thing that I really want to talk about is inflammation. And you're probably thinking, well, how can exercise decrease inflammation? Because that's a huge problem with COPD, is the inflammation causes restrictive airways. That's one of the ways, and there's many other ways which inflammation causes problems. But you're probably wondering how that works. It has to do with your breath. So if you're focusing on your breath, practicing your first lip breathing, you're decreasing stress. And when you're decreasing stress, you're reducing cytokines and cortisol and all these hormones that inflame your body. So those are the 5 main reasons why yoga can really make a difference in people who have COPD. And if you're, if you're hesitant about where you should go, finding one of these programs are absolutely the best programs you can find. And I always recommend them to everyone. So I don't always say try yoga, but if you're the type that likes to be in your home and not be as social, yoga is easy to do. There's videos, there's things that you can get on the radio. There's a lot of different ways that you can learn about yoga, even books, if that's what you wanted to do. But and there's a lot of videos, actually, believe it or not, that are specific for COPD now. So I advise you to reach out and find one of those videos or try a program. And